Welcome back to another explainer. So think about your kitchen for a second. I bet almost anything you have a microwave sitting right there on the counter. We use them literally every single day, whether it's to heat up that morning coffee, thaw some frozen chicken, or quickly warm up last night's takeout. It's practically a magic box for convenience, right? But what if I told you this incredibly convenient appliance might actually be a hidden aging machine, silently working against your health? Now hang on, don't throw it out just yet. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating science of how microwaves actually affect our food, and more importantly, how we can completely flip the script to turn this everyday kitchen appliance into a powerful longevity tool. Here is the agenda for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The microwave aging trap. 2. Foods to never microwave. 3. The hidden danger of plastics. 4. Foods to always microwave. And 5. Debunking common myths.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the microwave aging trap and how friction creates body rust.
Think about how a traditional gas stove or oven works. It's kind of like warming your hands by a campfire, right? The heat transmits gently from the outside in. But a microwave, it operates completely differently. It uses radio waves that rapidly vibrate the water molecules inside your food. It causes these molecules to rub against each other millions of times per second. Imagine vigorously rubbing your hands together to get warm, but happening instantly at a microscopic level. It's a violently rapid, highly localized type of heating that, honestly, does not naturally exist anywhere in nature. And because of this extreme, unnatural friction, we run into a pretty major medical issue, the creation of AGEs, or advanced glycation end-products. I like to think of this as literal body rust. When you heat certain foods way too rapidly at extreme temperatures, you create this rust. Imagine leaving a piece of toast in the toaster until it turns pitch black and rock hard. Now imagine that happening inside your body. When these AGEs accumulate, they drastically accelerate cellular aging. Your blood vessels, which should be nice and flexible, stiffen up like old rubber hoses, which leads to arteriosclerosis. It destroys your collagen, causing deep wrinkles. And recent studies even link the buildup of AGEs in the brain to a significantly higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. Moving on to section 2, foods to never microwave and everyday habits to break today. You know, our everyday grab-and-go convenience can actually trigger some heavily harmful reactions. There are 3 specific categories of food you really need to keep far, far away from your microwave: processed meats, room temperature rice, and certain finicky items like mushrooms and whole eggs. Let's start with the absolute biggest offender: processed meats. Look, I get it. Tossing a hot dog or some bacon into the microwave on a chaotic morning is super tempting. But processed meats are loaded with preservatives and color fixers, like sodium nitrate. When you hit these specific chemicals with the extreme, uneven molecular friction of a microwave, they violently react with the amino acids in the meat. This rapid chemical reaction creates nitrosamines, which are extremely potent carcinogens. In fact, the World Health Organization already classifies processed meat in the exact same risk category as tobacco. So microwaving them, it's basically like throwing gasoline on a smoldering fire. The easy solution here is to just boil your sausages or bacon instead. Boiling actually draws those harmful additives and excess sodium right out into the water. Next up is a pretty surprising one: rice. Now, to be clear, freezing fresh rice and thawing it in the microwave is perfectly fine. The hidden danger is rice that has been left sitting out at room temperature, like on the counter or in an unplugged rice cooker. As rice cools at room temp, a bacteria called Bacillus cereus breeds rapidly. And this bacteria is incredibly stubborn. It essentially wears a heat-resistant bulletproof vest. A quick blast in the microwave is not going to kill it, and even worse, the toxins it produces can't be destroyed by heat at all. Eating it leads to severe food poisoning, which is often called fried rice syndrome. So always freeze your leftover rice immediately, and when you do reheat it, make sure it is steaming hot all the way through. Which brings us to section 3, the hidden danger of plastics, endocrine disruptors, and invisible toxins. So most standard plastic food containers are rated for heat up to about 140 degrees Celsius. You might be thinking, well, water boils at 100 degrees, so I'm totally safe. And hey, if you're just heating up some water-based soup, you usually are. But here is the massive trap a lot of us fall into. Microwaves heat oil just as aggressively as water. If you microwave oily foods, think curry, fried chicken, or a stir fry, the temperature of that oil easily blasts right past 140 degrees, often hitting 150 degrees or more locally. And when that super hot oil touches the plastic, the container actually microscopically melts.
Have you ever seen the bottom of a plastic container turn kind of white and rough after heating up a curry? Yeah, that is literally melted plastic. When this happens, toxic chemicals like BPA and phthalates leach directly into your food. In the medical field, these are known as environmental hormones or endocrine disruptors. Think about how your natural hormones work. They're perfectly shaped keys that tell your body to manage metabolism and repair cells. But these plastic chemicals, they act as fake keys. They jam themselves into your cellular keyholes, but instead of helping, they cause absolute cellular panic. And this has been heavily linked to obesity, diabetes, and serious cancers like breast and prostate cancer.
Nobody wants to be drinking an invisible plastic soup every day, right? The solution here is wonderfully simple and super cost-effective. Just switch entirely to heat-resistant glass or ceramic containers. Glass is chemically stable, meaning no matter how hot the oil gets or how acidic your food is, zero chemicals will leach into your meal. Plus, you should really ditch the plastic wrap that touches your food. Instead, just toss a silicone lid on top, or even place a larger ceramic plate upside down over your bowl. It literally takes 2 seconds, and it is a massive shield for your long-term health. All right, let's flip the script in section 4, foods to always microwave and turning the microwave into a longevity tool. Take green-yellow veggies like broccoli and bell peppers, for instance. They are absolutely packed with vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant that fights off that body rust we talked about. But vitamin C is water-soluble. If you boil those veggies in a pot, more than half of those nutrients literally drain away into the water. But by microwaving them with just a tiny splash of water, you create a near-waterless steam environment and retain almost all of that vital vitamin C. The health benefits get even crazier when we look at tomatoes. Tomatoes contain lycopene, which is this top-tier antioxidant that scrubs out your blood vessels and helps prevent cancer. But if you just eat raw tomatoes in a salad, your body barely absorbs any of it. Why? Well, because the lycopene is locked tightly inside the plant's incredibly rigid cell walls. But remember that intense molecular friction the microwave creates? If you microwave a tomato for just a couple of minutes, that friction busts those tough cell walls wide open. Your body's absorption of that anti-aging lycopene actually skyrockets by 3 to 4 times compared to eating it raw. Add a little drizzle of olive oil and you have a perfect longevity dish in minutes. Plus, there's a really fantastic safety bonus here, especially for older adults. Root veggies like pumpkin and hard squashes are incredibly tough to chop raw. As grip strength weakens, knife slips become a very real dangerous possibility. Not to mention, standing over a boiling hot stove in the middle of summer is a major heat stroke risk. By microwaving these hard vegetables first, they soften up beautifully. The knife just glides right through, all the amazing nutrients are locked in, and it's perfectly safe. Now for section 5, debunking common microwave myths, fact versus fiction. You have almost certainly heard this one, or maybe you've even worried about it yourself. Does standing in front of a running microwave expose you to cancer-causing radiation? It is a wildly common rumor. Well, the scientific truth is a resounding no. If you look closely at your microwave door, you're going to see a metal mesh with tiny holes in it. That isn't just for decoration. It's actually a super powerful shield. Think of it like a bug net. A bug net can't catch a tiny gnat, sure, but a giant beetle? That'll definitely get trapped. The microwaves bouncing around inside your oven are physically much larger than the tiny holes in that metal mesh. They simply cannot pass through. As long as your microwave isn't physically broken, you are totally safe. And hey, if you're still slightly nervous, just take one step back, about a meter away, and any trace exposure drops to practically absolute zero. And what about the old urban legend that microwaved water somehow becomes structurally altered dead water? The myth says if you use it on your houseplants, they'll instantly wither and die. Yeah, this one has absolutely zero medical or scientific backing. Heating water in a microwave just makes the molecules vibrate to create heat. It does not alter the fundamental atomic structure of H2O. Water is just water. Once it cools down, you can give it to your plants and they will thrive and hydrate just as perfectly as they would from standard tap water. Don't let baseless myths keep you from using a genuinely great kitchen tool. Let's wrap things up with a summary: the do's and don'ts of microwaving, and small habits for a healthier future. All right, here is your quick cheat sheet. First, keep those processed meats out of the microwave to avoid creating carcinogens. Just boil them instead. Second, never let rice sit around at room temp and always reheat leftover food until it is steaming hot to kill bacteria. Third, and honestly perhaps most importantly, stop microwaving plastics. Transfer your meals to glass or ceramic containers to avoid ingesting those fake hormones. And finally, use the microwave to your absolute advantage by steaming your veggies and tomatoes to unlock massive amounts of vitamins and antioxidants. Look, these aren't some massive, sweeping lifestyle changes. They're literally just tiny, few-second habits. But those few seconds are an incredible investment in a healthy, energetic future. So I'll leave you with this. Every single time you press start on that machine, are you choosing to accelerate your aging, or are you choosing longevity? The power is entirely in your hands, or rather, in your choice of container. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and here's to unlocking a healthier you, one plate at a time.